Hi. Yeah, so this is the SIG Automation on the 19th of April. John is not here, so I'll try to run the meeting so far, right? I'll share the screen. So we don't have a huge agenda today. I don't know whether there is anyone who having topics or specific topics. Of course, I mean, what we typically are or aim to be discussed is the status of the sub-projects, I think. So each of the leaders should, or maybe Bala, I think you can represent John, I believe, for the package management. So we should probably give a bit of an update where we are with respect to the sprint 2 that is going to finish next week on, when is it, Monday or Tuesday? Bala, it's Tuesday, I think, right?
Sorry, looking, I was talking on the mute. So yes,
Yeah.
it's on Monday.
Yeah, okay, Monday, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can start to give feedback on package specialization. So we are implementing ISO the various aspects. So there is a bunch of libraries that we are doing, and the SDK is done, and I think Isti submitted this function today. So I believe the various code proposals will all be there, where my biggest concern because we have to merge, right? So it's merged in the main branch. So the biggest challenge I think we will face is to have all the reviews in order to get it then finally merged. So that's going to be, I see, the biggest probably challenge, given the time pressure. But apart from that, I think we are executing all the libraries. There is various PRs that are being submitted. And yeah, so various PR for the function and the libraries to be able to do the specialization. So there is four functions. One is the interface, the DNN, the NAD, and then the package deployment. So yeah, that's a bit the status. I don't know whether there's any questions.
Thanks, Vim. I think it's my action item to take a look at some of those PRs and review this week, and I would encourage everybody to do so as well.
Yeah.
So, thank you. So on the package management stuff, we did not have much presentation yesterday. So I know the UI story is going on. We don't. Do you have any representation today? Ganesh, I think
Ganesh is here, I think, right?
Ganesh is here. Okay. So Ganesh, would you like to give us some sense of where it's at?
Oh, hi, Bala.
Hey.
Is it regarding the UI? You mean, right?
Yeah.
See, as I spoke to Sahir and Chandra, so they told me I helped them set up the Kubernetes cluster. We had an internal session to help them get familiar with all the GVK concepts and all the YAMLs and etc. I also helped them set up some Kubernetes cluster and etc. I think this week they are just going to deploy it and see how various GUI components works and etc. So I think they told me that they'll get back probably by this week, so that we can understand what is the feature requirement and we can start the development. So that's where they are at. So they're still setting up the environment and trying to understand the flow.
Got it. Thank you so much, Ganesh. And then I know Simon. Last time I know we spoke about. I think Simon showed the interest to participate in that package configuration injection. So Simon, do you want to let us know where you're at on that one, please?
Yeah, so I think I have the code finished for it this evening. So here in Europe, it's already evening, and I'm just finishing up the tests. So I think tomorrow a PR should go out for it.
Oh, awesome. That's on the porch, right? On the porch repo.
It's in KPT.
KPT, got it.
KPT.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Cool. Thank you so much. So we are, those are the two big items on the package management. I know, I'm sorry, I'll put Eric is here. So Eric, I'm gonna ask you this question. There are three main items in SIG management. One is what Simon just told us, one is the UI. The other one is to create packages for the other 5G core functions, and we wanted to make use of the Orange's contribution. So, Eric, could you give us an update whether?
Yeah. So we just need to finalize our CLA stuff to be sure that we can contribute. So I still need to struggle internally to have all the signatures for that, but that should be okay.
Is it looking promising? Is it how we should take it, or do you have any
Sorry?
challenges? The CLA?
No, but it's just internally. It's not just administrative stuff to get formal agreement internally. That's all. Don't worry. It's pure administrative stuff.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much. So yeah, thanks, Eric. So I think those were the three main items of Wim from the SIG package management side.
Thanks, Bala. Yeah, appreciate all. So Tal, I think do you want to share the status for
Sure. Yeah, so we're making good progress. So we have two I would say sub projects. No, I'm just kidding. We're not that deep in, but we as everybody knows, until now we've been really focusing on UPF, so we understand it quite well, and that's the first code that we have. But we have a separate team working on SMF, and I think learning a lot about how to configure it properly. So that code is coming in. At this point, we're letting the code come in as it is from different teams, but we will have later rounds of unifying the code. The decision, by the way, is to have one operator, a container image for all free 5GC components, even though each one has its own separate controller code, because they are different. So we'll work on unifying that. We're discussing how to do testing. There are a few ideas of mocking, etc. I imagine that for R1, we'll have placeholders for tests rather than deep testing of reconciliation loops. But that's okay because our reconciliation loops are still quite simple. I was hoping to do this today, but I suggested that we should also build our own container images instead of using just something upstream from other projects, which is a dependency that could make it problematic for us. So it should be easy enough to replicate what Orange did, and we can improve it a little bit to add wrapper scripts inside. So this is something that I'll take care of for myself. However, we don't have clarity on where to push container images right now, and this is something that Wim, your sub-project, needs as well for kept function images, right? So there was supposed to be a meeting today with the Linux Foundation, and I put that on the agenda, but then the meeting was canceled. I don't know why. So I'll reach out to Lucy and try to figure out, what the credentials are for our Docker Hub user, which I understand has been approved for open source projects. So we could use that. And but yeah, I'll figure that out and I'll let everybody know if it's been figured out and how to actually push images there.
Yeah, that's very much appreciated, Tal. Yeah, thanks for taking care of that. Yeah, we will need that John, not because he's using Porch basically, but yeah, we need it for the controller and for the functions. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Cool. Yeah. Great. All right. So there is a chance we made it. I think the biggest challenge, and I think we will have the same challenge for you, Tal, probably, because if the code is coming in, to get PR review it. From my experience so far, it takes about a week for a PR to get approved, to have enough reviewers. So I think that's what I see. So in other words, in order to make Monday, you almost have to have the code now.
Yeah.
I think the
But
lucky
it's
thing
okay.
for our,
Yeah.
yeah,
it's okay.
the good thing for ARSA project at least is that we have kind of separate teams that we've organized working on each on UPF and SMF, so they can coordinate internally. So we don't really have PRs that kind of step over each other. So
No.
yeah, it's less of a challenge, I guess, in my sub project.
No, correct. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that if on Monday we have to merge or have the code merged, yeah, you at least you have to take. We have 2 days to review or 2 working days to review in essence. So it's a challenge and I think to get it really merged, but it's okay. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of time zones as well, so it's
Indeed.
yeah, so things are, it's a little bit slow, but I think it's more important for a PR to be in than to actually be approved, because if it's in, at least people can see it and, it becomes public.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. We have to go through the process no matter what. But what I'm trying to say is that if our target was on Monday to have it merged, that's probably, I see it as a challenge for our side, and yeah, but okay. If we are 1 or 2 days later, that should be fine, I think, right? So
we'll push it to the next one, and then I think we'll see. Overall, I think we are making progress, and if we can start some integration testing next sprint, that would be the goal. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. With that, I don't have any other topics.
So I added one line to the agenda while you were talking.
Okay, thanks.
So this is for all of us. I want to see if we can agree that all pull requests should be squashed into single commits. A lot of projects do that. We have a mix of styles. I've seen some PR squashed and some not. One PR just came in with 72 commits, right? And that's fine, when working internally. But I wonder if we really want to clutter our whole Git history with all these commits. I'm very much in favor of squashing.
I agree.
I agree with that. I think Isti did one, but I was going to check what he did because probably
it was already merged.
I mean, just to this for reviewing, right? When you put the PR, right? Just for reviewing, if there are multiple commits, it's fine. We can review individual commits. That's okay. But before merging, I think we should squash. So my question is, should the onus on squashing, should it lie on
that's exactly the question. GitHub can squash it for you. There's a button that squashes.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that the auto squash maintains in the text of the commit all the commits that it squashed, right? So if you had 50 commits, you're going to have a very, very long commit message, which is, I think, not very informative because it doesn't really tell you what this whole squash commit is really about, right? It tells you all the kind of atomic changes that happen. I'm in favor of the committers doing it, the contributors doing it. So you can actually edit a message that's semantically clear, and you can understand what this whole pull request is really about. Yeah, it could be a little bit more work depending on your style of working, right? Some people work by creating a lot of commits. Some people just have 1 or 2 big commits, right? Yeah.
maybe one thing from my side. Sorry, just so we are not getting mixed up there. So the one thing is in GitHub, you can configure what the description should be if there are multiple commits. So I think we can make it easy on ourselves by just changing that if that's the only issue. Because the nice thing is then you can just put as many commits into and they stay in the PR history. And then when you merge it, it's just squashed in a single commit. So maybe that's also an option for us.
I mean, that ends up having the same result. So you're saying in the GitHub UI, when you click the merge button, the squash button, you actually could edit. Actually, I don't know how that's done.
You can configure in the repository settings, you can configure what happens. So the default is, the description is a list of all the commit messages. That's what you described. But you can change that.
Yeah, because right now
very useful. Yeah.
the merge
I think
is
that was
happening.
my question too. Actually, you answered it even before
Okay.
If there is a way to do
Perfect.
it, I think we should make it happen. I know Wim, you were talking, and then also Ganesh has hands
Yeah,
raised.
Ganesh was my only. I just wanted to ask you, like, because it's when you merge normally, but today the merge happens through PROW at the moment, from what I see. So when you see,
Oh,
yeah,
It's the same thing.
yeah,
So
so
basically,
we have to check with how PROW is then set up, is what I'm trying to say. Is that understanding correct, Simon?
yeah, so I think what Prow does, it is just calls the GitHub API. So it just tells GitHub API, hey, squash merge, and then GitHub does what the default is.
Right. Okay.
And
Yeah.
so that's my understanding of how Prow works. But yeah, it's either one of those. It's either it can be overwritten in Prow or in GitHub in the repo itself.
So we need to check how we configured it. I think is
So-
what, yeah.
but how would that work? Because if it calls the API, well, now the committer has to actually write the description, right, for the squash commit. If it's automatic, then how would it edit the description differently?
You would edit it. So if it does call the API, you would need to set it in the GitHub repository settings.
Yeah,
Right,
but I
but
think
I mean
Alice-
the actual text. When at what point will the contributor edit it?
What do you mean by when will the contributor
Well,
edit it? What would the
oh,
contributor need to edit? Maybe if I ask the other way around.
Okay, yeah. So the issue that I have that maybe others will not share is that, yeah, auto squashing is clear. You know, the automatic squashing is clear, but the way it works, it creates a commit message that has a summary of all the commits, right? With their numbers, with their hash numbers, even when it's squashing.
Yeah, that's the default setting. Yes.
So what other possibility is there if not other than this default?
It's an immensely good question. So I know you can have no description. I know that's a possibility.
Yeah, that's not.
I can, yeah, well, wait, but so no description. I mean, there's a summary and a description, right? It differentiates between summary and description. And the summary will always be pull request title, and then I think pull request number. And then the description can be freely chosen, but I can look up what you can set there. I think for repositories that we use, we have the description actually just set to empty or to the PR description. I think our description is whatever the person wrote in the PR description. I think.
If that's the case, then we would be good. Yeah, I did. I just didn't know that this was possible. Yeah, but if the PR description can be used for the final squash commit description, that works. But it also means everybody should know that this is happening. So make sure that your PR descriptions are actually good, descriptive.
I actually put
that's
that
what's
as
going
a
to appear
note.
in history.
This is the last
Yeah.
statement. Ganesh, I mean, I promise after this I'll give the floor to you. Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
I put this in the document, also GitHub document that we have, told that, yeah, we should have meaningful PR descriptions and meaningful PR titles when we push the PRs. So with that said, Ganesh, please. So I'm sorry, and thanks for the patience.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, thank you. Actually, when PR is fully, if there are multiple commits from a single author, I think it would definitely be okay with making a squash. But if if a PR has multiple authors and if you squash it, so during the squashing, like who will have, I mean, if it is going to be in one commit, so how will the authors be decided? Like,
It's a good question. I mean, I would suggest that they could just be separate PRs, but
okay,
Because
maybe
sometimes how
this
we work,
explains.
Tal, maybe just to clarify how we sometimes work at the moment, we have various people working on various PRs, and then some people add tests, and so we divide the work a little bit. So a given PR could have multiple. I'm not saying that I'm just clarifying how we are working right now in the specialization thing. Maybe we should change, but at the moment we are collaborating on a given PR for various purposes. I test is one example, but sometimes it's the design document or some other person works on another aspect. And then, together, because Unless you have all these
That makes a
components,
lot of sense, right?
your PR
Yeah,
will.
no, I understand what you're doing. So I mean, honestly, it would be best if it would not be automatic. So yes, in some cases, a PR might have commits with multiple authors and you want to squash a bunch of them together, right? Because if you do manual squashing, you can control, you don't have to squash everything to one. You can squash it into, say, 2 commits, right? If you want to maintain the authorship. If we're going to do it automatic, then we won't have that option. So
Unless the automatic squash allows it to merge with various contributors or something. I don't know whether it's possible.
well, I mean, in the PR description, you can just list the contributors if that's important.
Yeah,
but
I think we should do that, Tal. I think we should
can
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or we could also decide if a PR has multiple authors, then we could just not use the squash, just directly commit. That's something also, if it's okay, then. See, because towards the end, the author's commit has to be maintained, right? It can be for various purposes, in the future, or it's definitely needed. So if a PR has multiple authors, I think it's better to not squash it. If it is all from a single author, I think I would agree to squash it all into a single commit. It's just a thought suggestion from my side.
Yeah, thanks, Ganesh. That's a great point. I think let's think about this a little bit. Let's also try to understand how this is handled in other open source projects as well, because I know a lot of them squash. This particular scenario, let's understand how it is done, and that's a great point. I think we should consider this point as well, Wim and Tal.
Yeah.
So I want to mention the idea of contribution. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So sorry, maybe to offer some insight on the multiple authors thing. I think it does that automatically also. It adds those basically, it adds the people in there, and then GitHub sees, okay, there's 2 email addresses in that commit, and then it shows up as blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah committed. So I think that also works out of the box with squashing.
Oh, it maintains the authors.
Yeah.
Yeah, this should be easy to test. We can just create a fake project and see what happens.
I think we have one. I mean, the parser interface at the moment, one of the PR that I try to get merged is, I think Ganesh and you and myself are there, right? We are both there, right?
Right.
So that could be so we have a PR that has that. We have multiple.
Okay, do you want to try an experiment there?
Yeah, we could experiment, yeah, to see what happens. But we should probably get it through the pro. We should not just merge it for the sake of merging it, but we should do the review there, and that could be the test.
I suggest an experiment. Somebody can just create their own personal repo.
Sure.
You can do that as well. Does somebody want to take this up and kind of research and find the best way to do it?
So I can figure out what's happening in this one, but I feel, Simon, if you could, looks like you have the most knowledge on this particular aspect. Would you be able to?
Yeah, sure. We can sync up maybe.
Yeah.
On this.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Simon, could you check with Rado to see how? Because I don't know whether Prow has any settings, or we just use the default, just to see how Prow has been set up for it. Could you check that? Could you do that with Rado?
Yeah, I think I could have a look at Prow. Yeah, for sure.
All right, appreciate.
All right, I'll write it down as a to-do for next Wednesday for me.
Cool.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Yeah, I have a feeling these, our initial commits are all kinds of styles, but we can set something for going forward, right? That's
a good point, Tal. Yeah, we should. We are learning a little bit, but it's good that you noticed it. Because
yeah.
That also gives a good discipline, right? Like good PR descriptions. We know it will be used semantically now. So
yeah, I call it Git hygiene.
Yeah, exactly. Ravi, please, your hands are raised.
Hi. On a different topic, there was this thread on this kept pipelining. I don't know what was the decision on that, right? I mean, you wanted to execute the pipeline twice, or go an ideal way as Tal was suggesting with the controller and so on. What is the final conclusion on that? Probably I did not meet. I do not probably participate in the follow-ups.
The final conclusion was that for now we're going to repeat operations twice, and we know that the whole dependency choreography dance is a very complex thing that will have to wait until later because there's just too much design that we need to do.
Okay, sure. Okay, that makes sense. A flat thing, because I think when there was some other proposal on some hierarchical things. Yeah. The other thing is that I think yesterday on the end-to-end setup, Bala, so I kind of inserted that topology that I got from that that's now it's available from Orange's free 5GC repo there, right? And probably I think, as I said, it's good to have Eric or somebody also kind of get involved so that how we could kind of have UE and SIM work across clusters, because you have the UPF and 2 different clusters and so on, right? So that probably needs to be discussed as well.
Okay.
So Ravi, I had today, I spent, Victor and myself, we spent 2 hours together on various discussions, but we discussed the setup with the UE SIM, with the proposals.
Okay.
We also discussed I saw the people from Orange as well, so they are here in KubeCon as well, Piotr. So we synced up on that. So I hope so Victor is going to update documentation, which will include the SIM tool in the setup for the validation. So you'll see,
yeah.
Your input will be is used. So it came right on time when I saw it. So I shared it with Victor today. I don't think.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
So.
Okay. No, I just wanted to kind of close the loop. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
All right. If there is no other topic, then we could give you half an hour back.
Yeah. So hope you're having a good conference, Wim.
Yes, it's hectic, but it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. All right. Thanks all. And we will be in touch. Thank you.
Have a nice one.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, Simon, thanks for your help on this. Yeah. Thank you.
So Bala, do you want to stay in for a minute? Then we can also have a look right now. It would fit me better than doing on another day. But which time zone are you in? By the way, super off topic. But
I'm in US Central.
US Central. Okay. Yeah, then it's good we do it now instead of moving it to another day.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So I can also share screen. Just give me a moment. So I think first, do you see a screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so what I already know is this is kind of what you can set in GitHub. So I will make like a screenshot for this. So basically, in GitHub, this. So and essentially, if we don't want like do what Tal has mentioned, we could just have it this way that it shows just a pull request title, or it shows pull request title and commit details. So we have all of these kind of options in there. So this is one thing I wanted to show. The other part was, so I've just put this. So this is from a repository that here we at Kubematic use. And it also uses exclusively squash merging. And you can see there's, for example, here's a commit that's done by 2 people.
Okay.
If you see it, so it does it, and we can double check if it does it automatically. But my understanding is what GitHub does is basically when you do squash merge of multiple commits with different authors, what essentially it does is it adds this co-authored line in there. Oops. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know where
Okay.
I don't know where it went. I'm really sorry. It just disappeared on me. Sorry.
Exactly.
Here we go again. But I wanted to highlight this line basically. So this is what my understanding is what GitHub generates for you in any case. And because it has that line, it just does exactly that. And you can see it's also that the other person, it's like the main author. This is also the one that the commit is potentially signed by. But this is picked up, the second author is picked up by that co-authored line.
Yes, makes sense. Yeah.
So what I don't know, what I will ask someone at my company is Prow, like what Prow can do, because I know that we use Prow for all of our commits, but I don't know what. So where we should be able to see it somewhere. So Kubernetes, what exactly? Yeah, you just add the label and then the bot merges at some point.
Got it.
So I'm not sure what Prow can do, but my understanding of Prow so far is it can only do what the GitHub API can do.
Yes, I have the same understanding too. I think this is all in the realm of GitHub is what I understand. I think what you showed, since it can be done in GitHub, I think we should be able to do it in Pro too. That's my understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say Pro should be able to call GitHub to do this.
Exactly. And I think it only has GitHub logic. I don't remember that Prow has any additional features on top, or I'm at least not aware of it.
Yeah, okay, got it. Makes sense. Yeah. I'll be surprised if it does, but I think whatever you showed, it's sufficient. So we had 2 problems, right? One is squashing, the other one is the description. And the third description, we can use the PR description. And the other one is how to handle multiple authors. You also showed that with the co-author. So I think we are covered. I think in my understanding, I think that should cover all the bases. So what do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it's important for the guys that we show it like in a structured manner next week, because I understood that some were not fully aware of what is already possible. Because I do think everything is already there. And I mean, at the end of the day, this is also how GitHub makes its money, right? Like they're kind of dependent on open source projects.
Exactly.
Working
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll just finish up the document so it is presentable next week, but that's about it.
Cool. Thank you so much, Simon. Really appreciate this work and the work you're doing on the KPD side. So where are you based out of? I just wanted to know.
At Germany.
Oh, you're in Germany. Nice. Cool. Weather must be getting nicer there, right? Nice.
It's starting. So I think we've had one of the worst April so far because it's just raining nonstop, and I really want to go biking. I bought a new bike, and since then it has only rained.
Yeah, I hope it gets better.
Yes, so I hope it gets better, but it's starting to get warmer and it's also starting to get more daylight again. So now it's still light outside, which is a huge plus because before, like at the start of the year when I joined the Neptune calls, it was always already dark.
Exactly. I know how it feels. Yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Thanks.
Then have a nice, for you, it's rest of the day, right? So have a nice rest of the day.
Yeah. My day is just barely starting and your day ended. So
exactly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you so much. And next week we will present whatever you showed to the wider team. I think this will serve the purpose.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.
Nice one. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.